Ian, Vanadium Corp is aiming to be Canada's first major producer of vanadium. You've got this nearly 1 million ton resource in Quebec. You've also got this proprietary green technology to produce vanadium pentoxide. So can you give us a brief overview of all of that?
Certainly. We have a world-class vanadium and titanium resource in northern Quebec near Chibougamau. Which is very well located, both in terms of its accessibility from a mining perspective as well as a transport perspective.
And then the processing side of it, your proprietary technology. Tell us about that.
In order to extract the vanadium from the rock, you needed a metallurgical process. Current processes for this task are not very environmentally friendly. They emit a lot of carbon, they have a lot of wasteful byproducts, and so our focus has been on how do we make the whole process less wasteful and emit less carbon.
Right, and vanadium is one of the more undersupplied critical metals. It's mostly used as a steel alloy, but what are the applications for energy storage?
Yes, to date, the biggest use of vanadium has been in steel alloys to strengthen steel. But a new application for vanadium, which we believe is going to consume about 50% of the market for vanadium, is vanadium in vanadium flow batteries. You probably think of a battery as something that's solid state. Vanadium flow battery is actually a liquid battery. It is comprised of two main tanks that have electrolytes that are differently charged, one negative, one positive, with pumps that actually cause the vanadium electrolyte to flow to a membrane where the electron is given off and the battery is charged.
And it's superior to lithium ion because it's much better for long duration, correct?
That is correct. Lithium ion is a great battery for shorter durations, say up to 4 hours. But it has certain limitations. Vanadium flow batteries are superior in 5 main ways. First, the duration is longer for each charge. Instead of 4 hours for a lithium-ion battery, you can get 10, 12, or more hours on a vanadium flow battery. And that is particularly important for renewable projects when the wind isn't blowing or the sun isn't shining. A second advantage is in the life duration of a vanadium flow battery. Lithium-ion batteries last anywhere from 4 to 6 to 7 years. Vanadium flow batteries can last more than 20 years. A third difference is that vanadium flow batteries are more readily scalable. You can scale them up to very large sizes without impairing any of the economics or running into any technical problems. A fourth advantage is that most of the kit in the vanadium flow battery is recyclable and readily recyclable, which is not the case for lithium ion. The fifth reason is really a very important safety concern in that lithium ion batteries are susceptible to something which is called thermal runaway, otherwise known as a fire. That doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it can be quite serious. Vanadium flow batteries are not susceptible to that because they're liquid-based, so they do not catch fire.
Speaking of those fires, we have seen those isolated cases with Tesla vehicles, obviously. Now, as far as your company's proprietary technology, can you explain how it works and how is it superior to current methods?
Basically, the patented technology we have to remove the vanadium from the rock uses a cleaner method of extraction. We're using clean electricity and steam to extract the vanadium, whereas current processes, they use coal, natural gas. They give off a lot of waste byproducts, whereas our system can actually capture what would otherwise be waste products, and many of them can actually be used, like titanium and iron. So there's a real economic benefit to using our process.
Ian, Vanadium Corp has 2 parallel goals. 1, to develop the resource, and number 2, to use your technology, which is proprietary and patented, as you said, to produce electrolytes from vanadium pentoxide to supply vanadium flow batteries. So take us through those 2 core objectives.
Well, the first objective, to develop the mine, we've been working on for a few years now. The development of any mine takes time, and it's really important to get the geology right, to get the metallurgy right, to get, most importantly, the buy-in and support of the local communities and the government authorities. And we're getting all of those pieces in place. In parallel with that, we will be using our patented technology to start producing vanadium product out of third-party materials, which we will be turning into vanadium pentoxide and then into electrolytes. And the electrolytes will be sold to manufacturers of vanadium flow batteries.
So how close are you to revenue? How close are you to getting that electrolyte production up and running? Is it as simple as flipping a switch?
Not quite, but it is easier than starting a mine. And we are right now organizing our pilot plant to produce electrolytes. We do expect to be generating revenues from the first sale of electrolytes next year.
You're in the midst of raising $4 million. I understand that after that, at some point, you may want to raise another $2 to $4 million. So how are you cashed up at that point?
We will be very well positioned to complete our development program on the mine for that period, as well as kickstart our pilot production of electrolytes. And at that stage, of course, we will have revenues, we will have customers, and so it'll be a lot easier to expand our financial resources to meet the demands that we very much believe that we're going to see.
Now, Ian, VanadiumCorp's team is very experienced, very varied in terms of their backgrounds and careers, such as yourself, everything from geology to finance. So give us a sense of the brain power that your team brings to the table.
Well, we have a very senior, experienced team, especially for a company of this size. We have very senior geology capability, metallurgy capability. We have one of the world's experts in battery electrochemistry. And we have on our team experienced professionals in project development and finance, including in green power, because we have to focus on the ultimate customer for us, which we believe is going to be green power projects or electrical grids. So having a knowledge of those customers and those types of projects is going to be very useful in making sure that we get the sales that we want.
And lastly, Ian, summarize everything that you've been discussing for investors. What's the opportunity here?
Well, this really is a historic opportunity where a resource meets the market. There is right now the green energy revolution has hit a bottleneck, if not a wall. It cannot proceed any further unless there is a major improvement in energy storage. Vanadium flow batteries can provide this energy storage that will be the key to unlocking the door to much more widespread use of green power. The world needs a safe, secure, reliable, environmentally friendly source of vanadium, and we are going to produce it in Canada, au Quebec.